Hey there, gorgeous NFA, no fucking around money mamas. It's time for our Q&A series on the Woman Entrepreneur podcast. If you haven't been here yet, I'm Dr. Amanda, the Money Healer, and I'm here for you each and every week to help you up-level your money vibes so you can make easier money in your business. I do this by teaching mindset strategies, manifestation tips and formulas and principles to help you be able to scale your business from a place of ease and joy and flow and fun. And today we're going to talk about this awesome question that came in that I get all the time. And it has to do with feeling guilty for charging enough for your services. So it's this problem of undercharging and usually over delivering. And if you've listened to the podcast before, go back to episode number 3 if you haven't heard this one yet. And it's my business scaling roadmap. This teaches you the 4 zones that you move through as you get to the zone of manifestation. And the second zone is over delivering and undercharging. And so this question really relates to that. And so I'm going to read the question and answer it. And if you ever want to ask questions of me to answer on the podcast, feel free to go to speakpipe.com, /the Woman Entrepreneur podcast. Leave a question for me and I'll answer it here for you. Okay, so let's break down this question. Wendy says, I feel guilty charging more for my coaching services than I'm willing to pay for coaching services from other coaches. What reframe could I consider to eliminate the guilt? Okay, so this has to do with guilt. And then a second follow-up question to that was, if I raise my prices, I'm afraid I won't get clients. So feeling guilt around charging, wanting to charge more, but then not being willing to pay for other people's services at a higher rate, and then being afraid to raise prices because you'll not be able to get new clients or you'll lose clients that you have. So this comes up all the time. First, let's start with feeling guilty about charging more than you're willing to pay. It is a very powerful move to start to pay other coaches a similar amount of what you want to charge because you're validating that it matters. Of course, you want to be conscious about who you're paying in terms of coaching services. I've learned this lesson before where I thought, if I pay a whole bunch, this person has the magic formula, and then they don't. And I realized, I was paying to revalidate myself or to soothe my imposter syndrome. So be conscious when you're spending money that you're paying for somebody who really has the solutions for you. On the flip side of that, when you are charging for your services, you want to make sure that you are charging for results and that you're certain that you can get the results for the people that you're attracting your way. This will alleviate any guilt. Guilt always has to do with you somewhere in the back of your mind thinking that you are out of equivalent exchange in terms of exchanging money. So let's say that you're charging a ton of money for something, but you aren't really providing that much value. You're going to feel guilt. Let's say that you're charging money for something and you don't think you offer enough value. This is an issue of imposter syndrome. So when you have imposter syndrome, you're going to tend to undercharge for your services and products and programs, and you're going to then feel resentful and simultaneously guilty. And remember that guilt and resentment and shame are all very low vibrations on the frequency scale. And in order for you to manifest bigger, easier money, you want to eliminate these things. So if you're feeling guilty for charging money, but you're like raising your prices, but you're not willing to pay for other people's services, you're sending a very mixed signal to the universe. You're saying, hey, I want, but I'm not willing to give. So I want to receive, but I'm not willing to give. So a really easy way to shift this is to find somebody who's really awesome at what they do and pay them for their services. And you'll notice that you're going to start attracting people who are willing to pay for your up-leveled services and your up-leveled prices. So that's one way to think about that guilt. So the reframe in that case is not like a mindset reframe of like, ooh, how do I charge more even though I'm not willing to pay? It's how do I charge more and how am I willing to invest more in myself? When you invest in yourself, you signal to the universe that you're serious, you're worth it, you're valuable. And then it also indicates the importance of, in this case, coaching services, and that you know that it's valuable because you are taking action based on your belief that it's valuable. So you're going to automatically be willing to pay other people for their services at a higher rate, which attracts people to you at a higher rate. So that's one way to start to alleviate that issue. So if you're struggling to pay people, I've had people say this to me before. They're like, well, I don't need a coach, but everyone else needs a coach. You're sending a very confused message to the universe and to yourself. And that's why people aren't buying from you. And that's why you feel that guilt. So reevaluate there. And the reframe is, am I willing to invest in myself? How could I find a great person that I'm willing to invest in? Take the leap and invest. And you'll notice that it frees up the energy around this stuckness of thinking that it's not okay to spend, but it's okay to receive. Because in the law of attraction, we want to have give and receive, give and receive, give and receive in equivalent exchange. You don't want to be over delivering and undercharging. You also don't want to be unwilling to spend money, but then expecting other people to spend money on you. Okay. Now, on this second part, if I raise my prices, I feel I won't get clients. A lot of people have this fear, and this is a pricing conversation in general where, how do you decide what to charge for your packages and programs and services? First, you start with an amount that feels like a stretch for you. And if you could see me on YouTube or on video, it's like, I'm going from like an inch to about, let's say 4 inches. So it's not that you're going from an inch to like off the charts, 1 inch to 12 inches. That doesn't make sense because that's too big of a stretch, and your subconscious will trigger fear, and it will cause you to have a really hard time selling because you're going to, in the background, be going, no one believes in me at this rate. I don't believe in myself at this rate. And first and foremost, people are buying your certainty that you can give them results for the price that you're offering. So start there playing with, how could I stretch it just a little bit to a place where I'm just getting out of my comfort zone of asking for a certain price, but not so far that I don't believe it and that it freaks me out and causes me to send this feeling of fear and desperation and doubt and uncertainty when I'm talking to people about what I offer. So that's one thing. Another part here is that you want to know in the background of your mind that when you raise your prices and you start to attract a higher quality of client, you are then signaling that you believe in yourself. And to do this, you got to start believing in yourself. So one way to raise your belief in your products and services is to write a benefits list. So you want to write 50 benefits to the products, programs, services that I offer. You could list the name of it, 50 benefits. And you want to start thinking of the primary benefits, like, okay, it helps them do blank. And then the secondary, what does doing blank help them do even better? And then the tertiary, what does that help them do even more? So here's an example. Let's say, let's say money coaching. Okay, so my products and services help people feel better about money. That's a primary benefit. Then what does that help them do? That helps them sleep better at night, okay? Because they're not worried about money, okay? So that's a secondary benefit. Tertiary benefit would be when they feel better about money and they sleep better at night, they're able to be more productive during the day, which helps them make more money. Right? So that's 3 benefits all wrapped into one of me helping people heal their relationship to money. And that's just 3. And those are simple. So you want to dig into 50 benefits, because what this does is it focuses your conscious mind on the benefits of your services. And I promise you that if you do the work to make this list and you really dig in and look at all the benefits of what you bring to the table, by the end of this list, you will start seeing your value, and you will see that you're worth the results and you're worth people paying you for the results. Another thing here is get rid of your thinking that you're getting paid dollars for hours. That is a very poverty consciousness mindset. You want to get paid for results. So what are the benefits of the results that you bring to your people through your offerings? And you want to just start stacking the benefits in your mind, because you want to raise your conscious awareness how awesome you are, how valuable you are, how you can guarantee certain outcomes for your people. Now, when I say this, if you don't have anything to guarantee people, you either need to go back to square one and start getting better results by refining your programs, products, and services, or you need to take off your blinders and see how awesome you are. Usually I would say it's the second part for people. It's that most of the women that I know who have, these awesome businesses who are doing amazing stuff in the world, they don't believe in themselves. And if this is you really want to do this benefits list and you want to start seeing your value so that you can raise your prices. And when you're raising prices with current clients, that's okay, because most of the time they will say to you, oh my God, I was waiting for you to do that. Or yeah, you weren't charging enough. If you have people telling you you're not charging enough, you need to raise your prices. If you're feeling resentful toward people you're working with because you don't think you're getting paid enough, you need to raise your prices. And so those are some indicators to know it's time to raise your prices. Then you stretch it just a little bit. If you already have current clients, you can go back and say, hey, I want to give you a heads up that in the next month, I'm going to be raising my prices. Here's the new policy. What happened? Let's make a new agreement. I've never had anyone leave by doing this. People go like, hey, you're valuable. I get it. It's awesome. If they do leave, that's okay, because you are losing clients who are no longer aligned with this new, more empowered version of you. And you want to be attracting people who are resonant with this new version of you, so that you're not shrinking to fit spaces you've outgrown. Right? The other thing that's really important is when you raise your prices, that new quality or caliber of person is going to attract new people your way that are in alignment with that newer price. So if you started your business and you weren't charging enough, and then those people are out in the world sharing what you do with the world, they're going to be attracting similar people, which means you're going to be stuck in this not charging enough space. And so you want to start up leveling as often as you want to start up leveling using the strategies I've taught here, and start playing with charging what you're worth, so that you don't undervalue yourself, feel resentful, get burnt out, and keep attracting that quality of a client. I know a lot of people are going to have questions about this. So if you have questions, one way to ask me is go to speakpipe.com/The Woman Entrepreneur Podcast. You can leave me an audio message with a question. Another way is to DM me on Instagram or LinkedIn. My handle on both of those is @NFA Money, @NFA, which stands for no fucking around money. So NFA Money, that's my business, my company name. And so just ask me questions there. I'm also playing with the idea of doing a Facebook group for the podcast. I had someone on the podcast party this week ask, hey, why don't you have a Facebook group? People would love to connect. And all the women were like, that would be awesome. So if that sounds resonant to you and you think that's something you'd be interested in, I'd love to know. So just message me on Instagram or LinkedIn and say, I would love to join the party or the Facebook group. And then I'll start one. I don't like to start things unless I have market validation that you all will be there, because otherwise it's a waste of my time and energy, and no one likes to waste time and energy, and that doesn't make sense. So I would love to know from you if that's something that you would like. So if that is something that you want, a Facebook group for this podcast, then let me know through messaging me on LinkedIn or Instagram @NFA Money. And I love being here with you. I love answering your questions. Keep bringing the questions for me so I can keep helping you scale your business more quickly, more easily, having more fun, not creating a prison out of your business, and instead enjoying it, having money flowing into abundantly in an ever-increasing way. All right. Until next time, I'm sending you hugs and NFA money-making high fives.